Shut up, bitch.
Yeah, that's personal. They don't need to know that. If you lost a limb, if you injured your spine or something like that, physically, you know what I'm saying? That will alter your.
Let's say government return to work, such and such as job. So therefore, it's basically covered it in yourself. So therefore, if you know what I'm saying, you have to call out whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? That is a certified against you.
Mm, well,
And if they questions, they call the doctor's office. The doctor's office is not going to say, "Oh yeah," they're just going to say, "Yes, he was a patient here, such and such, such." That's it.
well, look, you know more about me than I know about my foot. So we're streaming, by the way. We're live on
Oh,
both.
okay.
So I'm just gonna let me see, new game. Oh man, I forgot we got HDR on this bitch too. Oh my god. Nah, I don't want the subtitles on. Okay, we're good here. I probably could have turned the brightness up a little bit. I'll do it later.
Damn, bro. Oh shit.
What?
Bringing it back, bro.
Oh yeah, you see that?
I like that.
You see that? Yeah, I that was the second one. I got another one, and there was some pictures I saw. Like some people drew some pictures with like all of the '90s shit. Man, that shit was so fucking dope. I'm gonna find those pictures. Don't worry. I'm gonna get a hold of that shit. But
Gotcha.
I think it's better for us to just do this because there's so much copyright.
Yeah, infringements.
Yeah, there's so much copyright.
Yeah.
Um, so let me make sure we live and everything and get everything set up real quick. Old School Podcast, episode 1. Damn, bro. Control looks good, by the way.
It is.
I would really like them to do a game like an open world and shit. They have the skill. They have the fucking skill. Hi, I don't know if anybody posted anything, but I can't see you.
Who,
I
me?
mean, um, somebody might have posted something. By the way, I can't actually do. Yeah, no.
Yeah, do what?
So yellow, I didn't actually make the like the logo yet, but I have the font and everything. I'm gonna make that shit. I'm gonna just post another picture for the first episode. I'll go back and change it, update it later. Let's see what we got. Damn, the 19 fucking 90s. You ready to get started, buddy?
Yeah.
Somatic, shut up. You want to hop in here and talk about the 90s with me and Yellow for an hour? You can. Yep. Okay. Okay, now you're just getting crazy now. Somebody said this chick got a booty. Her ass small as shit. Just being honest, you know. Game looks amazing though.
Their version of booty is different from our version of booty.
Oh, tight pants. That's it.
Pretty much.
This game is fucking gorgeous. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's some weird shit. The Federal Bureau of Control. Oh, okay. Oh, the Federal Bureau of Control. Okay, Yellow, let's get started.
You want to get started, bro?
I don't know. I know we talk a lot about wrestling. Maybe that'll speedball us into some other stuff. So yeah. First of all, we already know wrestling isn't as good as it was in the 90s, obviously. And there's nothing that can change that. We can't go back in time. And that's the only way it would change for us. But it wouldn't change. The people we grew up watching and around that wrestling, like the different music and movies that were around that same time, it's amazing sometimes when you think about it, Yella. It's like, I can't sometimes fathom that, like a movie like The Mummy, right? The very first Mummy came out when Stone Cold, Steve Austin, and The Rock were still at it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or DX was still going strong. You just can't really imagine that so many things were happening in the same year or at the same exact time. And that's what makes the 90s so awesome. I mean, I know that's when me and you primarily grew up. And I'm not taking it away from anybody else that might have grew up in different eras, but the last good piece of history I think we have is the 90s. When it's never going to be as good as the 90s. In the very, very, very early 2000s. The part of the 2000s when people didn't even know we were in the 2000s. That's what I give people credit for. Because remember, like, I think between 2000 and 2005, there was still, like, movies that kind of felt like the 90s. Or we still had magic from music that kind of felt like the 90s. We still had wrestling matches that still kind of gave us that feel that we were in the best time of our lives, which was kind of in the 90s. So from 2000s to 2005, we can expand. But let's talk about, like, childhood. Okay. I think I'll go first, man. It's a memory that I have. It's a very strong memory. It's when my life changed. 1997. I moved from where I'm at now, actually, which is a funny story, in Bowie, Maryland, all the way to Baltimore, Maryland. So Bowie, Maryland is near Washington, D.C., much closer to Washington, D.C. than Baltimore. But I moved from Bowie to Baltimore. Clearly, everybody knows I was in foster care for a while, you know, didn't have a perfect life. But when I moved to Baltimore, a lot of things changed. I had access to my own TV in my own bedroom with a fucking controller, and it was color. It was a color TV. I remember going downstairs for the first time of this house. They had a air hockey table. I love to play air hockey, and for the first time, outside of seeing my brother playing his NES and his Super NES and on family visits being able to play his Game Boy, I went down to the basement, and the basement had a living room just similar to the one upstairs, bigger, and there was a Super NES there, and they let me know I could play that whenever I wanted. That's when it really fucking changed for me, because I really started to appreciate that time. That was 97. It might be a lot later for a lot of people, but it was dope. So, you know, this was kind of close to Christmas. And I was a kid then. Woke up early. Turned on, I think it was NBC. These are just early memories. I was 8 years old at the time. Turned on NBC early in the morning. It must have been like 6 or 7. No later than 8. Looney Tunes coming on. Looney Tunes was coming on NBC that early in the morning on a Saturday. Never gonna forget this memory. And I just sat there and watched cartoons. I believe after Looney Tunes, there was a Ace Ventura cartoon, if I'm not mistaken, that I watched. Beetlejuice had a cartoon that morning, I believe. And I mean, it's just speedball out of there, man. Like, a lot of people don't even know my first game on Super NES. Yeah, I played Super Mario World. You know, I never played Zelda. I didn't play Zelda until I got a Game Boy Color many years later in the early 2000s. But long story short, God damn. The games I had for the Super NES that I remember, it was like this top-down shooter, like a spacecraft shooter. It was a lot of those on the Super NES. But Inspector Gadget, I played the shit out of that video game on the Super NES. You can go search it up. RoboCop on the Super NES. Used to play the fuck out of that. And of course Mario. You know, I think a couple years later, maybe 1 or 2 years later, I ended up getting an N64 inside the house. And that's when it changed. You know, it was Star Fox that I was addicted to playing. I beat that game multiple times. Like, I don't think I beat Mario multiple times. I only beat it one time because it was a lengthy ass game, getting all the stars. And I never did get to the top of the castle, which is one thing I wanted to always do, but I never did. But goddamn, Star Fox was the shit, bro. I had Star Fox, I had Quest 64, Super Mario 64, ended up getting Smash Brothers when it first came out, which was fucking awesome. Wave Race, which was my first introduction into loving video game water. That was the game that made me appreciate how good water could be at that stage in my life. You know, that shit was dope. Oh my god.
Talk about some good times, man.
Good shit, man. Don't get me started on the cartoons. Before watching Digimon, I was watching Monster Rancher. Every morning before I left for school, I believe it was between the years of elementary, the last years of elementary and the early years of middle school. Early in the morning before I left for school, Pokemon was coming on WB.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was just, man, it was a great time to be alive because I had a schedule after a while when I got home because I was still a kid, and I had a schedule to watch cartoons, and I knew how to do it on basic cable. You know, I would come home, go to UPN, and watch Gargoyles, and there was another show on UPN. Then I would go on over to Fox. They had some afternoon cartoons when you during the week. I would watch some cartoons on there. Then I would go to MTP. I would watch some cartoons over there. You know, like what is it? Not Hey Arthur. You know Arthur. The yeah, I used to watch that.
Mole Rat.
Yup. What was it? Wishbone. You remember Wishbone, the dog?
Yep.
Yup. I used to watch that. Then I think Arthur was the last cartoon that came on MPT. Then I would move to Fox, right? Back to Fox and watch The Simpsons.
Was a fucking heavy hitter, bro.
Yeah, Fox was a heavy hitter because it had afternoon cartoons, and then after a while, it also had no. It wasn't the. Fox had Simpsons on Sundays in the weekdays. Yeah, but I think WB at that time when I was watching it, it also had The Simpsons, but it had it during the week. WB never had The Simpsons?
No, it was Fox.
Damn, then I must have flipped back to Fox 2 times then, during the same day. Afternoon cartoons, go somewhere else, and then flip back to watch The Simpsons. King of the Hill was on Fox also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Hold on, let me search that up because I know I'm right.
So while you're searching that up, let me speak a little bit upon my
Was
history.
The Simpsons ever on WB?
I was born in '85, so I'm pretty much mid '80s, and I definitely remember the '90s. As you see on the top left screen, a lot of people probably won't even know what that is, but that's actually Discovery Zone. That used to be, which I don't even probably know if they still have them, but I was born and raised West Coast, Portland, Oregon to be exact, and definitely had a lot of those. And when I was a kid, you know, I'd be in those little obstacle courses and everything like that, feeling as if I was an American gladiator. It's just crazy because even with that being said, American Gladiator used to be on USA.
Yeah.
And that was dope.
Is there any way for you to put your mic up just a little bit?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's much better.
All right. So yeah, top left is Discovery Zone, with the little girl sliding down the little roller slide.
Oh yeah.
I've been to a lot of those when I was a lot younger. And when I was basically going through those obstacle courses, I would feel as if I was an American gladiator.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
What?
Go ahead.
What place are you talking about?
To the top left, where the girl sliding down the roller slide.
No, what you were talking about? A place you was there.
Yeah, that's Discovery Zone, G.
Discovery Zone. Okay.
Yep.
It wasn't called Port Discovery.
It was called Discovery Zone.
It might be the same thing because I think it was either a Discovery Zone or Port Discovery in Baltimore.
Yeah, you might want to
Port
look it up,
Discovery, Baltimore City.
Theme and everything. It was Discovery Zone where I was at.
According to Wikipedia, Port Discovery Children's Museum is a non-profit institution located in the historic Fish Market Building in Baltimore, Maryland's Inner Harbor.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a Port Discovery in Baltimore. And it's very similar to what you were saying, but it's called Port Discovery. I think it's the same.
So similar to Carl Jr.'s and Hardee's.
No.
It's the same thing, just different. No, it's the same thing, different name, bro.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. It's the same thing, different name. Yeah, that shit was dope, bro. It was dope. I had a lot of great memories there, bro.
Yep.
They had this, didn't they have this scary house or something? You had to go through the washing machine and you end up in a bathroom tub. I don't know, bro. It was dope, man. It was.
I don't remember that.
No, well, this one must have been a little bit different because they also had like this Egyptian theme in there too. But yeah, look that shit up, man. I'm surprised they still even have it.
I definitely will.
Yeah, but it was dope, man. So I know what you're talking about. But go on.
But following those events of that amazing place, out of the West Coast, there was a place called Malibu Grand Prix. Had arcades. You could race go-karts. Of course, I wasn't able to race go-karts because I wasn't old enough.
Yeah.
Which was a bummer to me, but definitely had fun on the arcades, obviously. Out there on the West Coast, there was an arcade. This is probably one of the dopest concepts, bro. This is back in the 90s. My mom would go shopping, right? Of course, I'm a young kid, you know what I'm saying? What young kid likes to go shopping? The kid wants to play, have fun, obviously, right? Well, this place, I can't remember the name of it. I wish I did. But it was an arcade place, okay? And this is about the time Cruising USA was out, so what?
Oh my God, I love that game. Yeah.
I think. And this is before it came to consoles, the Nintendo 64 to be exact. So you would pay listen to this, bro. You would pay a cover charge to get into the facility, right? Maybe $5, whatever the price was. I don't know. I was too young to even recognize that. My mom paid my cover charge, okay? It was one in, one out. There was a guy at the front counter. And, of course, I'd have to put a wristband on, and then my mom would come back and pick me up when she got done shopping. But upon my arrival up to this beautiful establishment, every arcade you played did not cost any money, except for new games like Cruising USA at the time, and, of course, games that would give you tokens. So, bro, I spent countless hours playing the X-Men cabinet, Spider-Man cabinet, Ultimate Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying? Just like a plethora of just retro. Well, at the time it was, up to date and current gen, if you should say. But man, countless hours in that arcade place, just fucking playing games. Now that being said, following to the weekend lineup of my childhood, waking up like you said early in the morning, man, turning Fox on. And just letting it ride, man.
Oh, man, don't get me started.
Yeah.
Okay, you remember this show called Cubics?
Yep.
Okay, I remember that show a lot because when that toy came to either Burger King, I think it was Burger King. It didn't come to McDonald's. It was Burger King. When it came to Burger King, bro, and you had to collect all of it to make the big Cubics, I was obsessed with doing those types of things. They also had something similar to Power Rangers, collecting all of them. Yep. And listen, this was my favorite one. And this is a childhood memory I ain't ever gonna tell nobody else ever on any other podcast. So remember Inspector Gadget, the live action movie came out? And you had to collect the different pieces of him to make the big toy of him? Well, I tried and I didn't. I think somebody at the church I was at, they had that shit. I stole it. Right? It was in a fucking bag. I stole that shit. Took it home, played with it. I was going to take that shit back, right? So I don't know what happened, but I guess I tried to, take it out the house and hide it. I used to go back to my old elementary school because it was fucking big. I go back there, play on the playground. You know, whenever my parents told me to, you know, to get out the house. My foster parents told me to get out the house, get some air. You know, I eventually, you know, of course, got a bike and shit. Used to ride around the corner. You know, just sit down at the bleachers outside. I had like a yellow Walkman, but it wasn't a real Walkman. It was called something else. Used to sit on the bleachers, nice sunny day. Put my headphones on, just chill, man. Listen to some good music. So, I took the bag out with the Inspector Gadget that I got, you know, stole. Put that shit behind, like, the chalk bin for the baseball field. You know, that big-ass bin, whatever. Yeah. Put that shit behind there. Try to go back the next day or whatever. Didn't see that shit, man. I was devastated. You know, I never did get caught, but, you know, that shit was dope. That the promotions, the toys of that time are way better quality than whatever the crap they selling now.
Bro, I remember promotions from McDonald's, bro. Right? To where you would get like a Happy Meal or something, and then you got a discounted price to get movies from McDonald's.
Yep.
Addams Family.
Mm-hmm.
To be exact. I remember that one. I remember promotions for Batman Returns.
Yeah.
Oh.
Speaking of the Addams Family, no offense, I won't be seeing the new one. I remember the old one fondly, and I'm talking about not the classic black and white, but you know, the live action movie, the first one. Ain't nothing gonna be better than that. Sorry.
Nope.
Nothing gonna beat the originals, and I'm glad we even talking about that, because there's a lot of remakes and a lot of that type of shit going on, and I want to just get what your thoughts are, because I'm pretty sure you probably saw one of these remade movies.
I saw the trailer, and I saw it, and I was like, negative. Even same thing with that Ghostbusters. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but negative. I mean, if it's something that's nostalgia to your childhood and your generation.
What, you talking about the new one or the female one?
The female one.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, I skipped that.
Nothing against females.
You remember what I did when that came out. I went on Amazon, and I got the 2-disc Blu-ray pack. Mm-hmm. And that's how I solved that issue.
Yep.
And that's what I'm gonna do whenever they do this type of stuff. I might just take my ass on Amazon and get me the Blu-ray of the original movie. You know, did I ever think they were gonna do Lady and the Tramp, a live action? I thought it was just, hey, you gotta get some fucking real dogs, or you gotta get some CG dogs. I didn't think that they would go that far, but obviously, and this is a good topic to really get in. Because I know we've been brainstorming now about our childhood, so hopefully now we can get into this shit. I don't really like what they're doing with that. It's like Hollywood has no new ideas, and all they know how to do is remake something from our childhood.
Yep. You know what I hope they don't touch, bro?
Who?
The Goonies.
Yeah.
Do not touch.
When you said before what you said. When you said, I hope they don't touch, what came to my head was Ninja Turtles. Now, I know Ninja Turtles didn't first come out in the 90s, right? But, you know, I was born in 88. So, by the time I started watching cartoons and shit, like I said, I was about 8 when I really started getting these memories and remembering that shit. That was, like, when I really started remembering and having the freedom to watch shit and, you know, all of that and be the kid that I wanted to be, you know, but long story short, Ninja Turtles was the fucking shit. I know it was in the 80s, but I watched that shit. The live action movies. Those movies were fucking dope.
Yeah, they were.
Those were some dope ass fucking movies. And I hated how they tried to do the live action Ninja Turtles, but they ended up doing CGI on the Turtles. I didn't like that one. I wasn't a big fan of the very first CGI Turtles movie they tried to do, but it was, at least it was better than the one where, like, they claim they look like fucking Incredible Hulk mutations. But yeah, man, Ninja Turtles was the shit. The cartoons were amazing. I didn't like all that they kept remaking it, and now it looks stupid now, but I did like the classic Ninja Turtles and then the one after that one.
Yeah. The
one from the 90s, going into the early 2000s. I like that one.
To follow what you said about that, that's the same thing with Power Rangers.
I swear to God I was about to say Power Rangers. Now this is good. This was good right here.
Dude, I remember when the original first Power Rangers came out, bro. It took the world by storm, right?
Yeah.
And what was it? It was weekdays every week, around 3, if not 4 o'clock. I would watch that show, and I remember those shows very, very clearly. Especially the fact when the Green Ranger became the White Ranger. It was game over for me, bro.
Yeah.
It was game over.
I mean, it was something new that obviously in our childhood we never experienced. But let's talk about the comparisons and the competition. You had Beetleborg, you had VR Troopers, you had Mask Rider, right? The one. Remember, did I show you that one? Because it's been going strong in Japan. That's the one I told you about that went strong in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are crazy when it comes there in Japan, bro.
Do you remember the collaboration where Masked Rider was on an episode of Power Rangers?
You said what?
Masked Rider was on an episode of Power Rangers.
Yeah. Somatic, you gotta hop in here, bro. Cause we doing a podcast. Somatic said, "You remember Street Sharks?" I remember that shit. I had a toy of that.
To get his ass in here, bro.
Yeah, Somatic, get up in here, bro. Cause on the Discord and talk to us about this. Cause we doing. Okay, well, make a new one day, man. Hurry up and get up in here. Cause see, the way we have it set up is we're gonna keep using this exclusive PSN Legion Sunday show. I made a PlayStation Legion just for that, right? So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna use that one. Some fucking weird shit's happening on Control.
Oh, you're playing Control while you're doing the podcast?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, your mind ain't ready for it.
Uh-huh. I noticed that because I went down the hallway. You know, I like detail.
Your mind ain't ready for it.
I went down the hallway. And, by the way, guys, I'm streaming on Twitch while we're doing our podcast. I went down the hallway. You know I saw that vending machine, so you knew I was going to look at it. I'm a little disappointed, but I know what they're trying to do. So it's not like different snacks and different colors in there. But I like it. So I'm up here looking at the detail, and as I'm looking at the detail, I'm like, okay, let me go back down the way I came. I can't go back the way I came, because the way I came doesn't exist anymore. And now I'm hearing somebody singing in the hallway.
Your mind is not ready, Jay.
I don't think my mind's ready for this, but I'm very intrigued. I didn't think I was going to like this, but I'm looking at all this detail. Books and typewriters and fans, and you know I love detail. You know. Speaking of detail in the 90s, Fighting Force.
Oh, God.
Played that a lot on a PS1. You know, like these memories are going to come back to me, but I don't really talk about Fighting Force and how I liked that when you bumped into a vending machine. You know, this is also talking about what I'm doing on Control. Soda would come out and it would fill your health. And I love that. I also remember playing Tekken 3 a lot on the PS1. And how when I was in this action mode, it was like the side-scrolling version of Tekken 3, and you would need the chicken to get your health back and keep fighting. I love that shit, bro. I love food and video games and how it mattered. Even in the early stages, in the 90s. That was dope. That was something that I loved.
You know what I loved about the 90s with video games, bro? Games were complete.
Yes.
Okay. Call us crazy, call us old, but even just the small things that make the game experience that much more unique, bro. Memory cards. We didn't have online.
Memory. Look, this is what I really want to say. My memory, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what Ryan said. Ryan said I could get copyrighted on here too. That's bullshit. I hate. We'll talk about copywriting a little bit later. But long story short, I like that not just the memory cards, and being able to store all your memories and having just an awesome feeling about thinking about that. That's just fucking awesome. That's classic. Especially PS1. PS1, even though like I like the way that it was a no hassle with the N64, and that this is something I did in the 90s, bro. I had SmackDown 2. I at that time before I got it, I had been watching wrestling for probably a few years, and I loved it. And SmackDown was my favorite because I couldn't watch Raw. Raw was on cable, and I couldn't watch it. So all I watched was growing up was SmackDown. And I know it's fucked up, but I didn't have access to the TV in the living room.
But you made it work.
Yeah, but I made it work, and I understood everything that was going on, and I loved those storylines and everything. But goddamn, so when SmackDown 2, I think I was on my family visit, first time I saw my mom, and I didn't even fucking notice it, which was pretty fucked up. But things got better in my life with her. But she brought me SmackDown 2, and I never really noticed it until a few years after that event, when I did start meeting with her, that she brought me one of my favorite fucking wrestling games of all time, which was SmackDown 2. And because I didn't understand the memory card system for PlayStation, and I didn't understand how important it was, I had a wrestling book, a black wrestling book. It wasn't very thick. It was a very slim wrestling book. And I would use that book to create the wrestlers that were not in SmackDown 2. Nice. And even though I didn't have a memory card, I had it down pat to recreate Hulk Hogan, which I didn't grow up with, by the way. But that book was like, it had the size of the wrestlers. It had their classic accolades or whatever they were known for. But I loved Hulk Hogan, and I didn't even grow up with him. And I didn't get to watch matches of him until the NWO came to SmackDown. But I used to create the old school yellow and red Hulk Hogan over and over and over again. Every day that I had to turn off that PS1, I would turn it back on and recreate them and play that game. And I loved SmackDown 2 so much, man. It was one of my first favorite games. And I'm not taking anything away from No Mercy, which was my first love. That was my first love. I played that game before SmackDown 2. But SmackDown 2 took it to so many different levels with the attention to detail, the backstage brawling. I think it had a kitchen area and shit. I mean, it was crazy. As a wrestling fan, having SmackDown 2 at that time, and also having No Mercy, I was in wrestling heaven. And then watching SmackDown on UPN, I think it was on Thursdays, man, wrestling really, really fucking helped me, man. That was a fucking... It was so awesome. The storytelling was top notch. The action was fucking top notch. I loved the belts, like the hardcore belts. Matt and Jeff Hardy, and having so much tag team presence at that age, was amazing. I had brothers and best friends like Edge and Christian and shit. It was amazing. I loved it, bro.
Well, you remember the other day when I was watching the promo? I'm not going to get into detail because there might be some sensitive ears around here. But it was The Rock and Triple H.
Yeah.
I had it turned up. And he's like, Rock, what do you say? Rock, you know what that is that you're smelling? And then Triple H said what he said. You busted out laughing.
Oh, yeah.
The promo is just like that, bro. It's
straight
to the point.
No pun intended. It was raw. Yeah. It was 100% raw. They didn't care about your feelings. We were kids. Mm-hmm. You gotta remember, we were kids watching this stuff.
Not to cut you off, G. I remember I was in middle school when the whole D-Generation X, where you cross your hands and go over your crotch.
Yeah.
People would get suspended because.
Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah. And what's that thing that we used to do when we were kids? We would make that symbol with our hands.
Which one?
The circle one.
Let me see your hand. Do it to the camera.
Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah.
Okay, then it was another one where they did like the rainbow thing and tilted it.
Yeah, but you got to do. It's got to be below the waist.
You say what?
I said when you basically hold that circle up and you basically have somebody look at it, it has to be below the waist.
Yeah, it had to be below the waist. And bro, this was like when I got to the group home, bro, and that was just fucking crazy, bro. Cause I remember that at that stage in my life. I think I started getting those visits after I first got there. But when I got there, my foster mom, before she passed away of cancer, she got me this TV. It was a small TV, bro. It was not like the one you're thinking of. It was like a handheld TV. It looked like a radio that you could bring around, but it wasn't like that small radio type. It was like a small TV. And I remember it vividly. I think it was like a green. It was like a green color. And I would use that to watch what I watched on a weekend, because I think wrestling came on
Mondays and Thursdays.
Monday and Thursday, but it also had another showing on Fox.
Sunday.
Huh?
No, it wasn't on Fox. It was Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, because it was Sunday Night Heat.
Yeah, I think it was Sunday Night Heat we talking about. But after that, was it Mad TV? Mad TV came on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what happened was there was a re-showing of a wrestling event that would come on a Saturday. Then I would watch Mad TV.
Yeah. You would have what was it? It was WWF. It was Saturday. What is it? Saturday live events.
Yeah.
We also had Saturday Live Wire.
Yeah, I think it was Saturday Live Wire.
Yep.
And hello? So yeah, it was Saturday Live Wire. Something happened to the fucking game. I don't know what it was. But yeah. This nigga fucking singing in my ear, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He's singing in my ear. It's freaking me out. I'm looking at my foot again. But yeah, so I would watch that wrestling event, then Mad TV would come on. Oh my God, Mad TV, bro. Mm-hmm. That fucking skit with Kenny Rogers and Jackass. I know you remember Kenny Rogers and Jackass skit where he was drinking the milk. Bro, I can't tell you how hard I fucking laughed, bro. I can't tell you how fucking hard I was fucking laughing, bro. And it was dope because, you know, we were still, you know, kids at that time. I think I was just, you know, just turning about 13. You know, we probably had lights out or whatever, but it didn't matter because I had that portable TV and we could just watch that shit. And it had an antenna and shit, and it was just fucking dope, bro.
Well, let me ask you this. Before we get into Mad TV, do you remember the show All That?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. That was our
All That was the shit.
That was a young teenage Saturday Night Live for us, bro.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. We got a lot of shit in this picture right there, by the way. Like, Rugrats is there. I see Rugrats, which was amazing.
Hero.
Surge. I remember Surge the soda. I remember that.
That was nasty.
Yeah. I don't know if you did this as a kid. You would mix all the sodas together.
No, I didn't do all that.
Yeah. Not Surge though. I wouldn't mix Surge. That shit was strong on its own. I think I only had it like about 2 times. But those little huggy type where you had to snap the cap to drink it. I remember that shit.
So you remember see the popsicle stick?
Yes.
With the eyes?
Yes, I remember that.
Nickelodeon.
I was deep into Bionicles as a kid too.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, because I was a Lego fan, you know. I was a big fan of art. I used to draw and shit all the time. But yeah, I used to collect the Bionicles. It was so cool to me. It came in that little tube and, you know, it had weapons and shit. It was different from Legos. But it was dope, man. Yeah, the Action Hero Squad on Nick. That was fucking dope. Oh my God. That shit, I'm telling you right now, bro, the 90s was the best. You know, Airheads, candy, like we had the best candy, we had the best shows, we had the best music. You know, you had Biggie and Tupac, Aaliyah from the 90s, TLC.
The whole era, bro.
Exactly, bro.
The whole era.
I mean, we had crazy, amazing movies. Like, what was it? Titanic? Yeah, you know, being as big as it was about something so old, and so many people went to watch it, and it was such a lengthy movie at that time. And it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was just very, very crazy that an old movie at that time did what it did in the box office. But that was the age that we were raised in, you know? I'm trying to zoom out of this picture just a tad bit so we can get a better image.
That I remember very, very vivid and clear on my childhood of the 90s.
Look at that shit. Nickelodeon. I'm never going to not miss this moment. I think this happened in 99. Okay, it happened in 99, or it might have been 2000. But I think it probably was 99. It was my first time going to Disney World. This shit was special to me, man, because I never went to Disney World. I was probably about 9 or 10. So it must have been 99 or 2000. Went to Disney World and Universal Studios. I believe at the time they had Terminator 2 showing at the 3D movie theater in Disney World or Universal Studios. The 3D at that time, I never forget it. It meant something. You know what I'm saying? It meant something. It literally looked like that motherfucker was coming out.
Oh yeah.
Like it was because 3D wasn't like widespread like it is now. Like everybody, is using it in the movies. This doesn't even really matter. It doesn't even faze me anymore. But I will never forget how my first experience with 3D was just fucking crazy, bro.
It was insane.
And at that time, that year, they had you remember Fievel Goes West? The little mouse story from Universal?
The little mouse with the cowboy hat,
yes.
Cowboy boots. Yeah.
They had that. That was featured there. And everything there was bigger than us. So everything was bigger than us, and we were like small. And I never forget that shit. I never forget going to Disney World. And I think it was Universal Studio that had like a mascot guy in a little costume for Scooby-Doo. And George Jetson. The Jetsons were fucking dope. That was a dope ass fucking cartoon.
You want to know something crazy?
What?
So you grew up on the East Coast, obviously. Now, similar stories. I grew up on the West Coast, so I was going to Disneyland.
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing advertisements for Universal Studio and wishing I lived it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To experience those, because I never did. I obviously did now since I'm older. But when I was a kid, I wanted to experience those, the Terminator and, Jaws and all that other stuff.
Oh, my God. Don't get me started about Jaws. That was a crazy ride for me. I wasn't as scared as the earthquake simulator. We got on a train, underground train, and it was an earthquake simulator with the hydraulics and all that shit. That was scary. Thanks for bringing all these memories back, bro, because sometimes you just can't remember if you're not triggered. What was the other one? King Kong. A King Kong ride back in those days.
I wasn't able to experience that.
Yep.
But I remember seeing the promos and the advertisements.
Yeah. So on the West Coast, y'all don't have a Universal?
No, we have Disneyland. See, Disneyland was pretty much Disneyland is the OG of Disney. Okay. Disney World was built later.
Yeah, because I remember the history. He had a problem because the flagpole or something.
Yeah, some weird scenario.
Yeah, the flagpole couldn't be a certain height because it was something about it. And then, from what I heard, he got over that shit though. Yeah, from what I heard, he got over that.
Speaking, we're on the topic of nostalgia, obviously, because it's the podcast. Just came to my fruition of memory. Two things that are very, very clear upon my history of the golden era, in my opinion. Two things. First one was my mother and brother went to a store called Costco. Okay. Went grocery shopping. They come back. Guess what my brother had in his hand?
What?
Mortal Kombat.
Oh my God. Okay.
For Sega Genesis.
Thanks for bringing back that memory. My first introduction to Mortal Kombat. Hello? Somatic, you there? Okay, just making sure. Something either going wrong with the headset or something going wrong with the fucking controller. And it might be the game. You can still hear me, Somatic? Okay, I don't know what's going on. Something's going on. But long story short, my first introduction to Mortal Kombat, I didn't actually, I wasn't like 100% fortunate, and me being able to be the kid I want to be, like I said, it started at 8. Everything my good childhood started at 8. I didn't have like the best childhood. Clearly, I was in foster care since I think the age of 2. They say, so it started at 8. And I don't remember playing. I don't have a Sega Genesis. I do remember some friends that went to the church. They had Sega Genesis. I do remember really enjoying Aladdin on the Sega Genesis.
Yes, yes, bro. That game was dope.
Yeah. Killer Instinct. I remember playing that. I really liked that. That was a dope ass game. But the Mortal Kombat that I did play, it was the one on the 64 when it went 3D, and I loved it. I fucking loved it, bro.
Yeah,
and speaking of brawlers, I know I told you about this game, Xena, the 4-player brawling game. It could be 2v2. I mean, it could be 1 versus 1, but that was dope, bro, for me, because I used to watch the fuck out of Xena. I used to watch Hercules and Xena on a fucking weekend.
Do me a favor, bro. Give me that. Give everybody that Xena call, bro.
Nah, motherfucker. I don't know how to do that shit.
Oh, the second.
What's going on, Lionhead?
The second memory that is very fond of me, bro. VHS. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Hold on. It's gonna come to fruition, bro.
Uh-huh.
VHS. Do you remember the bubble coat cases?
I was about to fucking say that, bro.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Bubble coat case. VHS. Batman. Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh my God. Didn't watch that until years later though. But the Batman I did watch was the one that a lot of people didn't like. Now I do remember watching
Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite?
Yeah. No, it wasn't my favorite. It's the one that I did watch. I did go to the theaters to see the first Batman of that with the nipple variety, the one before Clooney. Then the one Clooney took over, right? And then whatever the last trilogy of that was. As a kid, I really liked it.
Yeah,
Let me just put it that way.
Batman and Robin. The first two were Michael Keaton, which was Batman Returns. And you had Val Kilmer, which was in Batman Forever.
Okay, so I did watch all of those. So from Michael Keaton to Clooney, I watched all those, and of course I watched all the other ones too. But goddamn, bro, Batman, even though it was as cheesy as we remember with the Clooney ones, it was still dope as a kid. You can't lie, bro. You seeing, well, as my memory as a kid was different because I wasn't fortunate enough to know what was good or not.
But as you get older,
as you get older and you go back and watch some of this stuff, you like, man, how the fuck did I like didn't like that? Okay, I'm looking at some pictures here that's a part of this. DuckTales, I see that. Here we go. I remember that one too, but remember I was probably didn't know any better. But fuck, I remember DuckTales. That was amazing. Halloween, like just a holiday as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Halloween as a kid was amazing, bro.
Yep.
I don't remember that somatic. You need to get in this fucking Discord, bro. I'll make your ass a Discord.
Put it this way, bro. It's self-explanatory that the 90s were such of an impact era, but they brought Rocko's Modern Life to Netflix.
Rocko's, okay, look, this is the one that I fucking either was scared of, but I still loved it. And I think a couple years ago, about 4, maybe 5 years ago, I sat down and watched a fucking marathon of that shit.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Nice.
And I
used to read those books back in the day, bro.
What?
I used to read the books back in the day. Me and my
brother. Yeah, I'm looking at one of the books. Yes, the books. I did start reading out the books, but once it wasn't, for me, it was different because like I said, I was born in 88, but I started like getting access to all of this shit in 97.
I'm only a couple of years older than you. I was 85.
Yeah, but once, it was almost like once I started seeing the books and reading them, because remember they used to have book fairs and when you were in school. Fucking awesome, bro. No matter when you didn't like it, but thinking back at it, we had some great books, man, as kids.
Let me ask you a question. When you were a kid, and of course we'd have the book fair, did you get, we would get a button with the books that we would buy?
Yeah.
And I'll send you a picture on your phone once we're done with the podcast. But we would get a button, and we were able to take this button to Pizza Hut and get a free kids pan pizza.
I don't remember that, but I do remember Pizza Hut. I love Pizza Hut. I always used to go there, bro. Pizza Hut was the shit as a kid.
Oh yeah, bro. Man, pizza places back then would have fucking arcades in there.
Yes. Chuck E. Cheese's.
Oh yeah.
That was the fucking shit. I don't know if you was afraid of the mouse. I wasn't.
No.
But I felt some type of way about the robots on the stage. I never will forget that shit.
Yep, you can
I will
actually
never
hear the
forget that.
mechanics move. You can
I will
actually
never
hear the
forget that.
mechanics move. Oh man, I remember clearly playing Michael Jackson Moonwalker.
Yeah, the video
Chuck E.
game.
Cheese. Yep, the cabinet, bro.
Bro,
That Chuck
I
E.
know we
Cheese.
talked about this earlier. By the way, this fucking game is gorgeous. This game is just phenomenal. It is like I've never, man, it's so much detail in here, and you know where I work, so this is fucking dope. But goddamn, this is really, really nice, man. They hats off to the developers at Remedy. They did a great job. I know this is gonna be a hit. I was on the fence about how I was gonna enjoy it. I was on the fence. I was like, am I gonna like it? Is it gonna be too much for me? But the detail of this game is gonna keep me going until I really, really understand the story. But back to Chuck E. Cheese and wherever we left off. The arcades, bro. Don't get me started on the arcades. They were everywhere. They were in laundromats.
Jay, not to cut you off, bro. MD 2020 in the YouTube comments. Saturday Night Shotgun, WWF.
Saturday Night what?
Shotgun.
That's what the show was called?
Yep.
Okay, so that's what I was watching. I will watch that and then watch Mad TV. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah. It's all right, Lionhead. I see Lionhead. Lionhead 405. He watching on Twitch. Thanks, man. I'm just chilling here. I think I'm gonna be streaming Control well after I'm done the old school podcast with Yella. But yeah, arcades were everywhere. They were in laundromats. They were in pizza places. They were everywhere, bro. And I miss it. I wasn't fortunate enough to go to arcades that I know of. I don't think I ever remember going to like a just strictly arcade. I think the closest I got to that experiences with Chuck E. Cheese in the movie theaters. That's another place. You go to a movie theater now, I don't think you're ever gonna find an arcade. Now, the one down the street that's also Regal, it has arcade section. So it has that classic feel to it. But the Regal in DC is just a strict movie theater. You go up there, you got the concessions, you go to the movies, bam. But this Regal up the street, that's the only one only movie theater I've been to that I know of that still has arcade. I think the AMC that I went to with my mom a couple weeks ago, and that was in Virginia. That one still had a arcade, but yeah.
Classics, man.
Yeah, but yeah, arcades, man, very, very, some good for gamers. You know, early gamers, the ones that are gamers now, because the kids now, they don't get that shit, man. And I don't mean to bag on some.
They won't understand, bro.
They won't understand being able to. That was our beta. That was our demos. And don't get me started about demos when it comes to the early 2000s with PlayStation. Having those demo discs in the magazines. I do not forget that shit. What was it called? I know one of them was called Game Power or Power Pro, something for Nintendo.
Game Pro.
Game Pro?
No. Nintendo Power.
Nintendo Power. So I remember that. Because remember, my introduction in gaming was Nintendo. But I branched out to PlayStation around the same time, maybe a year or two after I really was in the N64 and Super NES, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know how to really explain it, but I clearly, you know, being in foster care and shit like that, I was always on the go. After so I stayed at that house, the one where I got all the good memories. That was from 97 to 2002. It feels like forever though. Not looking back on it, it just felt at that point in time, it felt like I was there forever, because it was so many great memories. Most of the shit I'm talking about, all experienced there, except for, you know, this one memory. Multiple memories. You know, being in a group home, and fucking the staff member brought in his Dreamcast, and I remember he was a Blazers fan.
Yes.
He was a Trailblazers fan. And this nigga, he was a fresh dude, man. No homo. He was a cool guy. He was a cool staff member. This little bitch, nerdy, fat dude, snitched on him, got him fired, bro. He remind me a lot of Carl. He sound just like him. Sound like that annoying guy on Polar Express. You remember the Polar Express little boy with the glasses?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he sounded like him. Literally, he was the human version of him. Long story short, he got him fired. But he was a Trailblazers fan. He always came there decked out in his fucking freshest Trailblazers jersey. Hardcore Trailblazers fan. He brought his Dreamcast, bro. This was my first introduction in playing a sports game. A game. Because I was the type of gamer that, you know, I didn't play that. But I would love to play. I played basketball on gym. You know, I used to play football on gym.
So you played NBA 2K?
Yes. Loved it.
Classic.
Played Power Stone. Loved it.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, my first games for my Dreamcast when I bought it was Soul Calibur, Crazy Taxi, and the NBA 2K.
And listen to this. This was, I never got the game. But my foster mother's real son, you know, I think he was in Desert Storm, right? So when he came home, you know, he had 2 girls. He had 2 daughters. So they were basically like my foster nieces. But he had a PlayStation. And this is where I think they got the idea to get me my own, because when we went to go visit him in the inner part of Baltimore City, he had a big ass TV for that time, and he had the PlayStation hooked up. He had, I think it was Soul Calibur. What was it called on PS1? Was it called Soul Calibur, or it was called Soul something else?
Soul Calibur did not appear until Dreamcast. Soul Calibur 1 and 2.
Okay, so what was the other game like Soul Calibur, but it was on PlayStation 1? It was Soul something.
No. I think so. It might be Soul Calibur because no, I thought you were talking about Power Stone. Power Stone was only exclusive to the Dreamcast.
Oh yeah. Power Stone was only on Dreamcast, but it was was it Soul Calibur on PlayStation 1?
I think so.
Soul Calibur on PlayStation 1.
Here is some information about.
It was called Soul Edge at that time. Yes, it was. Yeah, I remember. And I had the chick with the I used to pick the chick with the shield and the sword. It was so dope, bro. When I went over there, I would play the fuck out of that. And I already told you my love for Tekken. I love that. But just let's get into some cars. I don't think I remember playing Gran Turismo, but I do remember playing Ridge Racer, Test Drive, Jet Moto. I love those games.
I'm gonna tell you that the pinnacle. I would say for simulator, it would have been Gran Turismo, but for somebody who didn't know much about cars but wanted to play a car game, you know what that game was, bro?
What?
Driver.
I had Driver also. Yes, I did have Driver. I don't know which number, but I do remember when I did get around to getting a Game Boy Color, I did have like a Test Drive. It was I think it was called Test Drive Off-Road on a Game Boy Color.
Probably was.
Yeah, Game Boy Color has some fucking dope-ass game. There was a wrestling game that I used to play. It was like a side-scrolling adventure game on a Game Boy Color. I used to play it. You could pick from The Rock. You had Triple H. I think you had Undertaker or somebody. And Stone Cold. You also had Stone Cold. And although it was pixelated, I had some amazing memories. And speaking of those memories, I also played the X-Men game on the Game Boy Color, and I loved it. The one with Wolverine. I loved it. And this is where we gonna get to the biggest part of the 90s. Fucking codes.
Jesus Christ, bro. Game Shark.
Yes. No. Not that one. The ones that I don't know how we found, but they were some codes. These numbered codes that would allow us to do these crazy things that now they turned into microtransactions or DLC.
Yep. Bro, you want to know what a code that I remember till this day, and it was for Sonic on the Sega Genesis?
Yeah.
At the start screen, bro, you can look this up. At the start screen, you would press up, down, left, right, A start.
Uh-huh.
And guess what? You have access to any level that you want to play. Bro,
all I'm going to say right now, bro, the 90s was obviously amazing. I definitely want to do this with you again. You know, let's see what time we at right now.
Yeah, it's about time, bro.
Yeah, it's about that time. But just closing out, me and Yellow been talking about this for a while. You know, sometimes we can't remember everything, but we spitball. We gonna remember shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But the 90s was the last great era of our history, bro. It is. There's so much amazing things that has happened in the 90s. I know that Big Money said he wanted to be here, so we're gonna try to get him on a podcast. Clearly, if you were born in the 80s or, you know, like I say like 1990, you know, I want you to be a part of this. You know, you can be a part of this in the comment section, or you can be a part of this by joining the podcast. We're going to try to do our podcast every Tuesday starting at 11. This is our first one. I'm going to go get a logo made up. I already got the font. I went over it with yellow, so it looks good. So we're going to get that shit set up, and we're just going to talk. It's not a lot of stuff we can show. It's not a lot of stuff we can listen to from the 90s because of all the copyright, which is it's just it's the most fucked up thing about this time period. Everybody's so sensitive. But we definitely are going to be talking more about the 90s. I'm looking down at that picture. And before we close this out, I know we're going over the hour, but what was your fucking thoughts? And this is a memory, bro. It's gonna make me tear up. I took my N64 controller on the road to my friend's house, bro, to play these 4-player games. Super Smash Brothers, GoldenEye, you name it, Mario Kart. Taking your controller to your best friend's house, bro, or whatever friend's house, y'all set up a date and y'all go to somebody else's house and bring your controller. That's how we did it.
Yeah, that's how we did it, bro, back in the day.
And it was like, man, fuck multiplayer. I mean, online at that time. That was our online. Our controller. Bringing that shit. I missed that.
Check this out, Jay. For anybody who's listening now or in the future, if you never experienced 007 and how critical it was,
yes, it
the
was.
Nintendo 64, that is like you owning a video game console, right? And not owning a controller. That's how critical that game was.
Now, you know, I'm a big fan of Dreams, and you know, I've saw people recreate this one shooter. I think I might have shared that with you, was similar to 007, and I know they will eventually. They've got the pixel art style down pack in Dreams, so it's only a matter of time. But when they do, I will be on that shit. You know, I will be on that shit.
Bro.
You know, I mean, that's another reason why I love games like Dreams. I love games like Little Big Planet, because we got a lot of people that still have the art skills that I used to have a lot, and they're doing some amazing things. And I love to relive the golden age, you know, of just all of this amazing history. You know, Pokemon. I used to play the fuck out of that game, and I collected the cards. Yu-Gi-Oh! I used to collect those fucking cards.
Those, bro.
Huh?
I remember those. I said I remember both those franchises.
Yep.
So that wasn't my forte.
Oh, I know. Yeah, but remember, I grew up as a Nintendo kid, so I ain't gonna lie. I was a little bit weird.
I remember trying to get into Pokemon.
Oh, no. I didn't understand the game. I just collected the cards. I had no fucking clue how to play that shit.
I'm just saying, even with the TV show, bro.
Oh, yeah.
The TV show.
What about Digimon? I know Somatic likes Digimon.
Nope.
Damn, really? Digimon was probably the best out of any of the ones with that type of scenario, because it was a lot more mature. It had more mature themes and better writing. I would recommend you to watch a Digimon movie. It was one that came out, I think it was at the edge at the early 2000s. It's very good. It was dope. It's a dope movie. I give it to you later. But yeah, Digimon was the best. You know, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, I know a lot of people don't really like that, but Digimon, although people didn't like Digimon compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, I know you did, Somatic, but I'm just saying, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon I liked because their stories were better. As far as the TV show, I aged out of it, but I did play the Pokemon games up until Ruby and Sapphire. I remember spending a lot of time on Game Boy Color playing Ruby and Sapphire, and of course, you know, I was a big fan of all the top-down handheld Zelda games up until Minish Cap. That was the last handheld Zelda game I ever played, and the last console Zelda game that I ever played and beat was Wind Waker for the GameCube. That was the last Zelda game I ever beat. Yep. But yeah, amazing time to be alive, man. Just amazing time, bro.
It was, bro. Let's go and wrap it up, bro.
Okay. Well, I'll see you guys. We see you guys next Tuesday. Thank you, Yellow, for being a part of this.
I appreciate you allowing me to be here with you, bro.
No problem, man. I'll see you guys later.